feel the vibration of the ground and move. The only time it'll attack you if it's too close, but it has to give you warning. That's what I always say for a woman. I use my voice.
Oh, good.
I claim my space.
Great metaphor.
Right? I use my voice.
Right.
I claim my space. They
Right.
become larger. They come up before
Right.
they attack. So
Right.
there's so many signs, and that's what women also have to take that serpent energy.
Right.
And if I do
Owner.
attack, you
Mhm.
deserve it.
Right. Right.
And that's that poison of truth.
Right.
That's that awakening that you're helping other people through your
Right.
voice, asserting your rights, claiming
Right.
your space, right? So when your
Right.
father slaps you across the face, you know, that happened to me too with my father. He was very inappropriate, hurt me bad one time, and I went after him. And he was like, whoa! I said, no one ever touches me. Number one. And number two, if you do that again. I was so angry, the righteous anger.
Yes.
Because the same thing is the shame, but don't you dare. Who do you think you are?
Right.
And that was my first like awakening for me as a woman to say,
Right.
I can take you down.
Right.
And I will
Right.
take you down.
I
Because
will.
I've always been an athlete and a trained warrior.
Right.
And that warrior kicked in me
Right.
where that Kundalini awakened in me that I will kill you if I have to protect myself.
Yes. Yes.
Because no one or nothing will harm me
Right.
or take that away from me.
Right.
And a lot of times that instinct that we have as women, that's a primal instinct, has been stripped from us because we have to depend on men to protect us and do all these things. And when that awakens, that Kundalini awakens at the base of your spine and
Yes.
your yoni to understand your worth, it's pretty scary.
Oh, yes.
It's so powerful. You feel like, you know, those of us who have hot flashes, it's like magnify that by 10,000 times.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, but imagine the
That
impact
the
that we can
impact
have.
through your words,
Right.
through your energy, you know,
Right.
just
Exactly.
you know,
Yes.
not my shit.
Yes.
Right?
I remember I used to love when you did
Ha!
the goddess
That's the
posture
hunt,
because
yeah.
that's really, that's all about
Claiming
that.
my space.
Owning your space, claiming your space,
Assert
and
my
using
rights.
using that navel,
Protect, yeah.
power to bring it up,
Yeah.
and use it in your throat and your voice and your
Mhm.
heart, but from the heart, leading from the heart always.
Oh yeah, because you have to be careful because you could really destroy
Yes,
people.
yes.
And you have to be careful of, I could be
Yeah.
fierce yet feminine in the way that I'm
Yes.
doing it. I have the right
Yeah.
to protect myself,
Mhm.
but I have to do it in a way where I don't want to create so much harm,
Yes.
but awareness.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you do have the right to protect yourself if someone's coming at you to harm you, and that's the snake too. I will bite you.
Yes. Well, that's a beautiful metaphor. Yeah.
No, I will bite you.
For
And
it.
it's gonna hurt. And not only gonna
Yes.
hurt, I'm gonna hold on tight. And it's gonna sting for a while. So that is like the rattlesnake or the snakes that are poisonous, right?
Yeah.
The other snakes just go
Yeah.
away, you know.
Right. So, and some of the goddesses have those qualities too. Kali Ma Durga.
Oh gosh, yeah. Kali.
And,
Hello.
and Oshun. And,
Artemis.
yes. So they have the fierce mother in them, and then they have the
Oh
benevolent.
yeah, they'll take you down in a second.
Yeah. So we're coming back to all the cultures,
Yes.
This is all through all cultures.
Yes.
And in my book, I mentioned Marija Gimbutas. She was an anthropologist and from Lithuania, I think. And she did a lot of archaeological studies on ancient goddess cultures in the Balkan regions, in Turkey. And, and there were all these figurines of Venus. And then I found out, I was studying her and doing research around this, and they lived in peace. There's no archaeological findings with these figurines of all these different bodies of goddesses.
Right.
And there was no arm, there was no weapons, there was no,
Right.
so in a way, the way that we were venerated, that we were honored and respected in every aspect of life and community life, it was just, I was like, wow, right? Yeah. And I actually, in my DNA, I discovered through my father's side that I have that, I come from one of those lineages, right? So more than enough to confirm and validate everything that I've been doing. Even as a professor, I was a women's studies professor. But now to do it from the heart, to do it from an awakened space, and to see the transformation in myself and other women and other people, to invite them to really dwell deep in the sacred feminine and to really because you know, in Kundalini yoga, we say that we have a 60-40%. So we all have it, right? We all have the feminine in us, and we all have the masculine in us. And to see those two to come into balance, I think it's also part of us, you know, warrior goddesses to really advocate for that, right? So that we're more aligned as a society, we're more aligned in our communities.
And that's a gift, because we have the ability as women to shapeshift, men don't.
Right.
We take on both forms, so that's why we're more powerful.
Yeah. And
so if we
enough,
cut off of our own femininity, you've already lost.
Right. And then men who are feminine, you know, and want to. Like my father, you know, when he passed, my father had his both shoulders come forward, because he was, you know, after he passed, I had this realization that he was actually a very sensitive man. Yeah. And the way that he would protect himself, he would rather, you know, distance himself from you and then be hurt. And I discovered that so much later, right? You know, and I think that a lot of men today and risk, you know, trying to work around that sacred masculine, I think is really, really important for us. And and remember that, you know, it can be done. We had 5,000 years of patriarchy. We don't have to put men in those roles anymore. You know, men don't have to follow the, you know, tough guy, you know, mentality. No, we need to sort of rework all of that. And we're in the Aquarian age, and we're moving to do it, you know.
Pendulum.
Yes.
But if women act more like men, imitation men, as I call them, the pendulum's going to swing the other way. Not only is it going to swing the other way, it's going to swing the other way 50% more, which is going to create more harm.
Right. Yes.
So it's like, if women don't understand right now that we have the ability, we're at such an accelerated rate to heal. The universe is literally, the world is faster.
Yes.
And time. You know, humans create time.
Yes.
And but most women, that I always say, is they won't stand in the circle and lead because of, if you believe in past lives or trauma that you've had, is you don't want to stand real and raw in the center of the circle. So even through my research, we went through this, like, why? Well, I don't know enough to lead. I don't want to be the center of attention. I don't want to take that much responsibility, because leadership meant more responsibility instead of learning how to delegate.
Right.
So it's like, oh God, I gotta take that on now too. You know, like, like, no, I don't want to lead. I gotta take care of somebody else. But it's like, no, change your perception. And then why women would lead also was because in the past, when you led and you were all healers, all women are natural healers, you were killed or harmed, or someone you loved was killed or harmed for you speaking up, claiming your space, and asserting your rights.
Right. Yes.
So you still feel that down in your DNA, that trauma from past lives. Yes. But now's the time to, like, totally release it,
or burned to the stake.
Yeah,
I had
drowned.
Yes, I had a lifetime that I woke up and I was getting burned to the stake by the same community that I was a healer of. So that it was actually what hurt the most was the betrayal behind it. Yeah, than actually the physical pain that I had for being burned to the stake. But you know, about 8 million. Do you know that it's about 8 to 9 million women that were burned to the stake? Sure. It's almost like a nation. Yeah. So can you imagine that? All that wisdom that was lost.
Yeah, the wizards, they call them in the wizards. But oh, absolutely, it was horrific.
Yes, it was horrific. Yeah.
And so we have that as a culture and within us as women, why we're so scared to stand in our feminine essence and lead. So it's easier for someone to be more imitation men, which is really not understanding, you're hurting yourself more.
Right. And today, you know, because there are more opportunities that are being available to women, it's, you know, it's something to be alert, not to fall back into the masculine. Because I recognize that in me. I can switch, you know, I can switch. So, and I'm like, oh no, I'm doing it again, you know.
Well, I
have to slow down. I have to, like, you know, be in my body, check in,
and get aligned. But I always say, what I do with my heart. By how I run my business is with my mind.
Right. Oh, okay.
So the linear part of structure and knowing business and understanding. Yeah. But I will give my heart out, be of service in any way I can, but don't mistake my kindness for weakness either.
Exactly. Because I love your phrase. Yeah.
Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you give everything away for free either.
Yes. Right.
You know, we're not in the day of where you trade a chicken
No.
or food. It's money.
It's money.
And women sometimes don't feel worthy to ask for that money.
Right.
You know,
Right.
or understand their
Yes.
worth. So
Yes.
as a healer, if you're in this, you know, helping others,
in the well-being
understanding the
industry,
energy of that.
yes, to transform that into a business where
Mhm.
money, that it's okay to receive money because money is just an energy.
Or
right?
what's your health worth? A lot of women don't spend money on themselves or to help themselves because they don't feel worthy of it.
Right.
So
To
if you're not
invest.
worthy to invest in yourself, then
Right.
that's what you're attracting to.
Right.
And this is what's going on right now with women and
Yes.
finances,
Right.
and why we're so healthy with finances. However, you go back to the indigenous cultures, and women were always in control of the money
Mm-hmm. Yes.
because they always handled the textiles. So
Right.
where did that
Mm-hmm.
break?
Right.
Where
Right. Where you have to, yeah.
Oh my God, we can
give
talk
the
about
money,
this stuff
give the money to your
forever.
husband, right, to administer it, and then
Or you have to be underneath, you know,
Yeah.
his thumb
right to
because you're a piece of property.
yes, yeah, yeah.
So
So how about if we jump into the meditations? I call this the
Yeah,
Goddess series.
pretty intense conversations here.
Yes, I'm glad. So the first one, these are all going to be with your eyes closed, and you could sit on the Issy pose, and begin to. This is good for the brain and to release some stress and anxiety and depression, and just begin to strike the thumbs, the finger, the tips of the finger and the thumb as well, and you're making like a little teepee. Your elbows are out, and just bring your breath to normal breath. Release. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And find the Isht, or the negative of your higher self, of who you are, deep in your soul, deep in your heart. Want to do this? Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And this brings the two hemispheres of the brain to balance, and releasing anything that no longer serves you, and transform the trauma, the psychoses, the neuroses, and let it go
Neuroses, yeah.
from your family, ancestral fear, everything. Just let it all go. Good. And now stop, tap in, and we'll just keep that mudra. Mudra is a hand position, and we'll keep the mudra, and now begin to inhale in 5, suspend in 5, and exhale in 5. So suspend in 5 and exhale in 5. And continue and find your own rhythm. Your eyes are closed, you're deep within. Inhale. And the last cycle. Good. Great. Now take a deep inhale, and now we're going to cross our arms under our armpits, and we're going to lift and inhale, and lift your shoulders all the way up to your ears, and keep that posture. And exhale deeply. And then begin again, deep, long breathe in here. So inhale from the belly, fill it up. Bring that air all the way to the diaphragm and the collarbone. And without lowering your shoulders, they're always going to remain up. And then, but your breath is going to go down now. Exhale, release it from the collar.